Cyrus, run across the street.
Did you see Cyrus Carmack-Belton turn around at any point?
No.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julia Jenae. We are watching day 2 of the case of South Carolina versus Rick Chow, a shop owner, a store owner who is staring down a murder conviction over the death of a 14-year-old boy, Cyrus Carmack-Belton, who was shot in the back, according to prosecutors, and was running for his life away from this defendant. However, the defense says this was self-defense and defense of others, that this defendant saw a gun, that his son told him that the shooting victim had a gun, and that's why he fired his weapon. Inside of that courtroom, we just finished hearing testimony from a witness who showed these jurors the evidence pertaining to those 2 firearms, the one that was found at the scene from the shooting victim and the one that the defendant was carrying, something he was licensed to carry. While we wait for that next witness to take the stand there in South Carolina, let's bring in law enforcement expert and litigation expert Sonny Slaughter, who's been watching all of this. And Sonny, the firearm is such an important part. Of course, because this is a murder case, the firearm is going to be important, but there's not a question of who fired which gun and which gun belonged to which person. It's really down to a matter of whether or not the defendant who fired his gun, whether he saw the gun of the shooting victim. And I want to play first something that was said during opening statements by the defense, having to do with that gun and why it's so important, the one that was in the hands potentially of that 14-year-old.
One thing that I do not believe you will hear during the course of this trial is why a 14-year-old would be illegally possessing a semi-automatic pistol, wandering the streets with that pistol, with a laser attached, and there was a bullet in the chamber.
Sonny, is that a valid question from the defense?
From the defense side, yes, it is a valid question. As someone who works defense cases, it is a valid question, but is it relevant to the facts of this case? No.
And why is that? Because there are people who were wondering, you know, when you hear an unarmed teen being shot in the back, that sounds very different than a teen who is accused of shoplifting who has this gun. And the prosecution tried to get that out through a bystander witness. It really wasn't why he was on the stand, but the prosecution asked him, when you were 14, did you have a gun, maybe illegally? Why did you carry it? And his name was Devontae Bryant, and he said, yes, I did when I was a kid. It was something where we would have guns to fit in, to look good in front of our peers. It was just something that was accepted around other people, and it was also to protect yourself. What do you think about the prosecution using a witness who was supposed to be there as an eyewitness to also try to normalize the 14-year-old having a firearm?
So I actually watched that part of the case this morning, and I was like, I would not have done that, because you don't want to normalize it, even though this particular kid had one, because it doesn't mean all of the kids in this particular neighborhood had one, even though the eyewitness said that when he was young, he had one. I couldn't recall whether this person lived in this particular neighborhood, but he also said that his son or a child that's almost 14, he wouldn't want them to have a firearm.
Right.
All of those facts are important.
That
however,
defense for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. However, we are still talking about. I didn't see a gun in his hands as he was leaving the store. I saw him put his hand in his pocket, but I did not see him pull out a weapon. As fast as he was running, and the way the pocket is made, the gun would have likely fallen out. The fact that he had a gun is problematic. He did not use the gun, as far as we know. The defense has not been able to prove that. The defense has not been able to state that he actually stole something. So we're still getting down to the facts and the evidence. Beyond all of the emotion, the facts and the evidence still say that the father and the son, who claimed they were in fear for their lives, decided to run and chase this individual, this young boy, down the street, and then he was shot in the back. Does the defense have a case? They have to create something, and this is their argument.
Let's watch this clip that the defense really wanted to keep out, but it did come in yesterday during testimony.
You kind of had a chance to walk and look around the store. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right. And was there anything about the decorations in that store or the pictures in that store that would bring your attention to things?
What's alarming is when you walk in the store, you see all the photos on the wall, the clerk stand and the photos.
Okay, and you see several photos, correct?
Yes.
All right, may I have that back? And there's stage 52 that is up on that board, the photos that you're talking about above the clerk's head. Is that a fair and accurate representation of what you would see on a daily basis or however often you shopped in that convenience store?
Yes.
Is there anything noteworthy or anything that you notice when you go in the store?
So as soon as you walk in the store, besides the normal gas station stuff, once you walk up to the counter where the cashier is, I mean, they have like different things up there. Lottery tickets. At the top, there's like the wall of shame. And it's pretty big. There's multiple people that's been in there prior.
The wall of shame, something that the defense wanted to keep out. They didn't want any mention of this wall of shame, but it did come in, and these jurors have seen it. All the people who they say stole from them. More Court TV Live after this.